And if you ever wanted to see Chris Pine's bare backside, you get to see that too.
You pause it? Did you give it a little
Slow
pause?
motion.
Welcome to Fridays on the Fly. I'm Eric.
And I'm Ward.
You want to jump right in? What were we talking about? We were talking about projects for the month of November.
Yes, we were just talking about projects and we figured we might as well actually record it since that's what the podcast is about.
Right.
I have a lot of projects I want to do in November. A lot of things I kind of put off because October was crazy with Halloween. One of the big ones, and probably the ones I will fail at, is NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. We're on day 2. Technically, I should have, if I'm going to write 50,000 words, I should have 4,000 words so far. I've written 0, so a little behind.
So 6,000 tomorrow?
True. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, what I was thinking is that you should probably, did you already have a story idea?
I've already started the story.
Isn't that cheating?
The goal is to write 50,000 words. In essence, I could have a 50,000 word novel already written, and I just write 50,000 words on top of that. The goal is to write 50,000 words. It doesn't matter whether it's part of a larger story, whether I write 50 1,000 word stories. As long as you write 50,000 words, that's it. You just got to write the words.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be one story.
No.
What technically qualifies a novel?
I think it's right around 50,000 words.
Oh, okay. So it should be one story, though.
It's either 40 or 50,000 words, and if you're below that, it's a novelette.
How many pages roughly is 50,000 words?
175.
Oh, that's not bad. I was thinking that probably a really good exercise to do every year in November would be to take the exact same story and rewrite it every November till you felt like you got it down. Is that something you would do, or do you already have your? When did you start writing this other thing that you're going to add on to?
I started doing outline last year in October, November. I can't remember, somewhere in there, because I was going to do it for NaNoWriMo last year.
Right.
After my Ghostbuster costume, I didn't finish, and the entire month of October, I was hitting it hard. So when Halloween came and went, I was just burned out. I did nothing for the month of November last year.
Sat in front of the television.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, why not?
This year, I didn't get as burned out on the costume.
I'm burned out on the costume.
Last year was much worse. This year, I stayed up late, but not crazy late. Last year, 2 weeks before Halloween, I was up every night till 2 or 3, and my wife was up till 2 helping me. I mean, we were still didn't finish. I really wish I could count the words I already have in this story for NaNoWriMo this year. I want to do it, but if I don't meet it, that's okay, because chances are I'm not going to meet it because I have so many things I'm trying to catch up on.
So what other projects are you working on?
Well, all of Saturday and Sunday, I was filming videos for I do a movie review on YouTube.
Right.
And I've not done that in 2 or 3 weeks because of Halloween. So I recorded a bunch of those over the weekend. I made a video for my dagger build.
I saw that.
Did a blog post for that. Also did an Instructable for that, and I got featured for that.
Really? Gosh.
I was kind of expecting to get a front page feature because I thought this was a really good tutorial. I didn't get the front page, just featured. There's featured, and then there's front page.
What do you submit to when you submit to them? Do you submit the blog that you did?
In essence, it's the blog.
Oh, okay, all right. Or I didn't know if it was the blog or the video.
Both of them was on there.
Oh, okay.
In essence, the video is just a blurb in the Instructable.
Right, of course.
Because there's some people that their Instructable is just a link to a YouTube video. But to me, that's a bit disingenuous because I never go to their YouTube video. I like to read things. I like to see the step by step. So I try to break it down to where somebody could read my Instructable and know exactly what to do.
I'm more of the YouTube watcher on that. I get a little burnt out on reading.
Reading is hard.
It's just, gosh, I read so much. When I want to look at something, I just rather you just show it to me. Let's just get this over with.
Well, see, my problem is a lot of these YouTube videos, it's like I just keep skipping forward because it's like, okay, this doesn't matter. I
told you, the first third of every YouTube video is useless.
Yeah, you're right.
First third. You got it on Instructables, and they featured it on Instructables. That's impressive. Because this time of year, they probably get a lot of submissions.
Oh, yeah. They have a bunch of contests running. Halloween costume, Halloween prop, Halloween decor. They always have contests running. So, it's very busy right now with people throwing up Halloween stuff.
Are you going to put the mask on there, too, once you finish that? I love the dagger. The finished product dagger is incredible. But that mask, even though you went a little crazy with the resin and it weighs 4 pounds, it's still really beautiful on the outside.
I was working on that over the weekend too, and right now it's part of my overall Halloween costume Instructable, and I'm not sure I'm going to split it out. They have an epic fail contest going on right now, which it would be perfect for that.
Oh, because of how much it weighs?
All the things I should have done differently. There are Instructables on there that cover how to make this mask, and mine, it doesn't really add anything that's not already on.
Oh, really?
Like the dagger, there's some things that are similar to that, but there's nothing that's quite like that. They're masks, they're Instructables that I looked at before I made my mask that tell you step by step, and they're really good. So right now, it's just part of the overall costume.
Did they use the other method that you were talking about instead of using all the rubber
The one I have in mind, what the guy did was Pepicura is in essence, you put a 3D model into this program called Pepicura, and it converts it to where you can print it out on paper, and it puts all lines where you glue this paper together. It's almost like origami, but it tells you where to glue it. You have a paper model of this, and then you do something like resin on the inside to stiffen it, or you do it out of cardstock paper.
Right.
Resin to stiffen it, then you may do fiberglass or plastic resin.
Gotcha.
And then you go from there. And I thought about going the Pepicura route, but my issue is I'll be using somebody else's model. For me, I'm very big on, if it's not mine, I'm not going to use it.
Came out great, though.
But I did, when I was building this mask, I did, in a moment of weakness, think, maybe I'll just use the Pepicura. Like when I started and it just was not going well, it's like, well, nobody would know if I used the Pepicura. And, but then I decided, no, I'm going to muddle through it.
So what else for November? I mean, that's a lot already. I can't believe you got it on Instructables. I got to check it out. I've been on Instructables before, but I'm not into building as much as you. So I get stuck on pretty much the first page and I'll click on like one or two things. I'm like, all right, that's good.
Well, the front pages, that's where all their top stuff is.
Right.
But I really thought my daggers would make it to front page. Because the shield I made, that made front page. And I thought, well, if that made it, the daggers have to.
Well, I mean, they don't know the work that you've put into.
Yeah, but they have to review the Instructable before they. I was surprised. I mean, I still got featured, and that's good. And I think I've gotten 6 or 7 Instructables featured on there. So that means I think I have enough. Because whenever you get featured, you get 3 months free membership. I got free membership for like 2 or 3 years now.
That's awesome.
I haven't actually cast any of them in yet because I just haven't needed to. The costume, I want to put that up on Instructables. And Instructables is neat. I mean, I got a lot of people looking at my work on Instructables, more so than my blog or anywhere else.
Well, that's because that's where you go for that. I mean,
yeah.
YouTube, you'll probably get it. You'll probably do pretty decent on YouTube with the
nowhere near Instructables, though.
Oh, no.
Most people go to YouTube. They want to find like comedy videos or like movie clips.
I don't go for either one of those. I don't.
I mean, you look at like the subscribers I have on YouTube, and
right.
You take one of my family. I don't have that many. On Instructables, none of my family is subscribed, and I got over 80 people subscribed to me on Instructables.
Yeah, wow. That's impressive.
I mean, I love Instructables. I mean, I was going to it for a long time. Just, you see how a bunch of people do things differently, and I'm like, okay, I like how they did that, I like how they did this. Or I'm like, I don't like how they did any of that, but it just gives you something to jump off of. And
it's amazing all the different routes you can go to get the same
Sure.
finish, the same finished product.
The one thing I really need to get done is my orange truck. I need to get rid of that thing. Oh man.
What do you have to do to it?
I need to put the dash in because it's an orange truck and everything in the interior was great except the dash was blue. So I was switching the dash out, which I got halfway through and moved on to other things.
Oh man, you couldn't pick a worse time to work on a car either. It's November.
Yeah.
I hate being outside working on a car when it's cold.
That's got to be my top priority because if it don't make my top priority, it's going to be winter and then I'm like, oh, I can't work on it in the winter. Yeah. And it's going to go into next year and I just need to fix that. But really, I just need to get the dash in there, clean the carpet. I was going to charge the AC, but this one I'm like, who cares? Just
I told you I have that. I have a charger for you.
You're right.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can
this one I'm like, I don't care. Just give me less money. Whatever. Let's just get
AC doesn't work fine. Here's $50.
Yeah, but of course the battery's dead on it now. I was gonna crank it up just to get it running because it's been a while. And obviously, it's been too long because the battery is dead.
How long has it been since it's been running?
Gosh, probably in the summer.
At least you didn't let it go that long. I mean, it could have been years, which would be really damaging.
Less than a year ago, it was my daily driver.
No, you were driving a Blazer mostly.
Maybe 2 years ago, it was my daily driver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I couldn't fit my son's car seat in the orange truck. See, the bad thing is I got all the door poppers, so when the battery's dead, I can't even get into it. Because here's the thing: I have an emergency cable, but I took the door panel off, and I don't know why. But if the door panel's off, it's just like a pull cable. It doesn't work with the door panel off. I guess the door panel must hold something together. I don't know.
But, may be.
So I need to get the battery going so I can at least open the door.
Oh my gosh.
So that is a project I'm dreading the most, but it needs to be top priority because if I let it slide, it's just...
Why is that? I have those same type of projects where, like, I've got a motorcycle in the basement that all I do is put it back together, I sell it, make $1,000 on it, off I go. Why don't I do it? Why is it the dreaded project? I love working on cars and motorcycles, but I don't want to put that thing back together and sell it. I just don't.
Well, I know part of it is the reason I'm dreading this is I'm not putting it together for me. I'm putting it together for somebody else.
Right. Just so
like,
you're going to get rid of the Blazer next?
Nah. Well, I like to have a backup car just in case.
Well, Jennifer's car is obviously never going to go down, but the truck might.
I mean, the truck is old enough to where kind of one time when I first got it, the brake hose to the front calipers on one side, they tend to collapse over time. Right. So it collapsed. And like I'm driving, all of a sudden, I realized something's not right. And what it was is that, and I realized it had been happening for a while. I just didn't realize it. What was happening was that the fluid went to the caliper, the hose collapsed, and it didn't get back out, so the brake was clamped down. So it is down for a few days as I worked on that.
That's going to be a heck of a project to try to get done before November. Trying to do the novel and get that truck.
That's why the novel is just, that's like a stretch goal. I'd really like to get that novel done, but I figure if I can try to write a little bit every day on my lunch hour at work, that's probably my best shot. That's probably the only time I'm gonna end up working on it.
You have too many other things. You have way too many other videos, and that takes way too much time.
You share about all the other projects I'd like to do in November. I realize that most of these projects, I'll be lucky if I get like one or two of them done.
What else?
I will say this, so I'm going to interrupt this, because after I finish my Halloween costume on Thursday night, I'll watch quite a few movies between Friday and Saturday. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Stretch?
Stretch?
Came out in 2014, stars Patrick Wilson.
No.
Man, that's my new favorite movie.
What?
I thought it was awesome. I mean,
I've never even heard of it.
I'd never heard of it either.
What's it about?
Patrick Wilson is the titular character Stretch. He's a limo driver. A year ago, his girlfriend dumped him. He's about to get fired from his job. He steals a customer from somebody else. The celebrity cameos can be really bad. This movie nails them in a way I've never seen before.
I'm going to have to see this. Is on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
How have I missed this?
I'd never heard of it. I don't even know where I heard about it from. But I know the director is also the one that did Liam Neeson Fights a Wolf. He directed that movie, but
I haven't seen that.
Whatever. This movie's awesome, and David Hasselhoff cameo. The David Hasselhoff cameo. That was so well done. He was playing himself, obviously, but they just nailed it.
I'm gonna have to see this, and then we're gonna have to talk about it because I'll watch it tonight.
It's my new favorite.
It's so
movie.
funny. I was just on Netflix too, and I watched like 3 movies in a row one night. I had nothing else going on, and as I watched them, I thought, you know what, Ward really needs to see these because I'll bet he's never seen any of them.
Where were they?
Blues Brothers.
Oh, I've seen the Blues Brothers. Come on.
It's classic.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
See the Warriors?
Oh, I like the Warriors.
Okay, all right. And the other one was, A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen all 3.
I mean, these are classics. I mean,
They
most
are.
of the classics.
I don't know. I don't know what you've seen. I don't know your taste as far as that, especially Blues Brothers. I was like, nah, I don't think you've seen Blues Brothers.
I mean, the Blues Brothers isn't my taste, but when something's like a cult icon classic, I feel like it's my duty to see it because I'm into movies. So
plus, it's also a musical.
I guess technically it is.
Oh, it's that. Yeah, it's listed. It's listed under musicals. So I was like, really? I was like, oh yeah, I guess it is a musical. So yeah, those are the 3 movies I watched. I've seen all those movies before. I saw them on Netflix. I was like, yes, the Warriors.
All those are on Netflix right now.
Yeah,
I might have to check out the Warriors again.
I haven't seen the Warriors in probably 15 years. Really good movie.
Yeah, I love Stretch. You know, it's kind of dark humor, action.
Oh, I'm gonna love that.
And Chris Pine, he's in it.
Chris Pine.
He was Captain Kirk.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And man, his role was awesome.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And if you ever wanted to see Chris Pine's bare backside, you get to see that too.
You pause it? Did you give it a little
slow
pause?
motion? I thought everything in this movie was so well done. It's ridiculous, but the right kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure if it's going to be your type movie, but I absolutely loved it. I mean, because I think a movie, it should be surprising, entertaining, and a lot of fun.
Is it supposed to be comedy? Is this a comedy? What is it?
It's like a dark comedy almost.
Oh, I like dark comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it skews more to comedy.
Okay.
It's awesome. I thought it was...
Oh, I'll watch it tonight.
And Jessica Alba's in it, which... You
can never go wrong with Jessica Alba. She's an easy top 10.
We know Patrick Wilson. I'd first seen him in the Watchmen movie, the Owl Guy or whatever. And I really like that movie. I know a lot of people don't, but I like that movie a lot. I was really impressed with his range in this movie. And a movie you had said was your guilty pleasure a few weeks ago, The Devil Wears Prada.
Did you really watch The Devil Wears Prada? Was that on Netflix?
It was on HBO. I was impressed. I mean, it's not my kind of movie.
No.
The directing and the writing is top notch because the movies like this, they usually fail.
Right.
Because if they're not poorly written, they're directed terribly.
Or poorly acted or the story's just so off that it's just,
Well, this story, I've seen this story countless of times. And it's really easy to screw up. But this movie, they get it right. And what really impressed me and it was made very apparent because I just watched Furious 7. I don't mean to discount the people involved in Furious 7, but it's really... I wouldn't even say actors. It's people reading lines off a page. That's what it feels like. And The Devil Wears Prada, the acting and the direction was great because I got just as much information from the characters' facial expressions as I did from what they said. And that is so rare in movies nowadays because nowadays, if they want you to know something, they
spell out everything for you.
And I looked at the director. It's like, this guy is really good. What has he done? And he'd pretty much just done a bunch of TV shows.
Really?
This is one of the few movies he had done. And I was just so impressed.
But he had, when you think about the cast... Meryl Streep is incredible. Anne Hathaway's fantastic. I like pretty much everything she does.
Yeah, but you compare, let's say, Anne Hathaway in this to Anne Hathaway in Interstellar. She didn't get the chance to emote in Interstellar like she did in this. This movie, they let the actors act. I realize that is really rare in movies these days. They don't give people the chance to do that.
No, that was a really, I told you, it's a guilty pleasure movie. I've never known a boss like that. She never screams. She never yells. She never gets really mad. The tension and anger is just enough to like, wow, that's really good. But yeah, see, guilty pleasure
Very
movie.
good movie. I'm not sure it's going to become my guilty pleasure, but definitely a quality movie.
It's one of those things on every time it's on HBO or whatever, I'll just put it on as background, like while I'm on the computer or something.
I could see why you would do that easily. Yeah. And another movie I watched, The Impostor. Man, we're getting off of projects. I got to tell you about The Impostor movie. It's a documentary.
The Impostor. Wait a minute. Okay, now go ahead.
I wouldn't call it a good documentary, but the story itself is just so bonkers that you can't help but watch. This French guy, he's in Spain, and he calls the police in Spain pretending to be a tourist couple. And he's saying, I found this kid that looks like a teenager. There's something wrong with me. You need to come out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then when they come out, he pretends to be the 15-year-old.
Right.
Have you seen this?
Yeah. No, I've heard about this.
And so the story isn't about him impersonating this 15-year-old kid. He then goes to a group home, and this guy's wanted by Interpol. He has been impersonating teenagers for like
in
years.
all different countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he gets in this group home. Somehow he gets to calling the United States police stations and is looking for a missing kid he can impersonate. So he finds one he thinks is good, and he says, oh, I'm this kid from America that went missing 3 years ago. And when he finally gets the facts of the kid, he's like, I look nothing like the kid. I knew my jig was up, but I figure I might as well go with it while I can. And so the family comes out to see him. And the sister, she's like, Nick, it's you. And the guy's saying, I'm thinking, what's wrong with this woman? I don't look like Nick. I look nothing like him. How? And so he goes back to America. He gets a passport. When they're interviewing for the passport, the person's like, I'm going to show you some pictures you've never seen before. And he's like, it's not I'd never seen them. That sister had shown them to me a few minutes earlier. I even got some of the pictures wrong, but by that point, they were convinced I was him, so they gave me a passport anyway.
That's crazy.
He starts going to high school. He's like this 23-year-old guy going to high school. And the family's accepting him. And he says, I did some press interviews because I figure if I'm going to be this guy, I'm going to own it. It just so happens his private investigator is watching TV and sees this guy doing a press interview and sees like a picture of him before he went missing. And the guy's like, I looked at his ears and I knew this wasn't the same guy. What is the guy talking about? But the guy goes into this thing about how the FBI, they talk about how the ears never change. So he goes to the FBI and he's telling them about the ears, and the FBI just thinks he's crazy. The private investigator's going into it. He uncovers some different things about how maybe the kid was murdered. Finally, he goes back to the FBI, and the FBI, I guess they just don't want to admit that they messed up. But they finally realize that, hey, this guy isn't the kid. And so the guy eventually goes to jail, and they realize he's been wanted by Interpol. I mean, it's not that good of a documentary, but the story's just so bonkers.
Oh, the story, but it's real.
Oh, it's completely true.
I remember hearing about it in the news.
And so, because then this guy who's impersonating the kid, he's like, oh yeah, the family, they killed the kid, which... this guy's a consummate liar, so you don't know what he's talking about. The private investigator actually did some work trying to find out where they did, because there was some circumstantial evidence that maybe they did. He could never substantiate it. But it's just bonkers. Like, why would this family think... One funny thing, the reason the FBI believed that what he said was true was that, well, he went in such detail, because the guy had said that he was in like some sex ring, and they injected things in his eyes. That's why his eyes were a different color, why they used to be blue and now they're brown. And therefore, I was like, he went into such detail that there's just no way somebody could make that up.
Oh my!
It's just bonkers. It's crazy.
I can't believe that. It takes so much to get people after you've been presumed dead. It takes so much to bring you back to life. Like, I actually know somebody that happened to go through that process. I mean, it could take. It's not as simple as one person identifying you. It's like it is a huge process. So I wonder if this guy went through any of that at all. Sounds like they just they believed his story and gave him a passport.
Oh, yeah. I think when the sister identified him, they did a test, just showing him some pictures that she had already shown him. And like, oh, it must be you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then the FBI interviewed him, and he came with this crazy story about why he looked nothing like the kid, how they beat him, injecting things in his eyes. And like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So is this worth watching? Should I watch this?
It's one of those things that if the story wasn't so bonkers, I'd say no, because it's not that great of a documentary. But it's just such a ridiculous story that I'd almost say, it's worth checking out.
How long was it?
I'd say it's right around an hour and a half.
That might be too long for me to sit through the whole thing. I'll watch Stretch tonight.
Oh, you gotta watch Stretch.
We'll talk about that.
I'm just curious to see your opinion on it, because I fell in love with it.
I love dark comedy. I mean, it just depends on how dark it is, I guess. Like, I consider like Malcolm in the Middle to be kind of dark.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even Arrested Development has that kind of dark humor.
All right, so back to projects, which we're supposed to be talking about. A few things I really want to make. One is a crosscut table saw sled.
Crosscut table saw sled. I have no idea what that's for.
In a typical table saw, there's no support right behind the blade, so you can kind of get a little bit of wobble. So a crosscut sled, a sled that goes across the table saw, and you have a cutout for the blade.
Right.
So that way you have support. Sometimes if you're not cutting something very big, it just wants to wobble when you're going through the blade. I have like a push stick that's a bar that I'll put behind it, and I'll just cut through it just so I have that support.
Right.
So I'd really like to make one of those, which that shouldn't take too long.
There's probably plans for that. I mean,
I've seen some stuff on Instructables. That's how I discovered it. I didn't even know what one was. And I saw it in Instructables. I'm like, oh, this is what I've needed. I just didn't even know it.
I'm sure Norm Abrams has something somewhere.
Probably.
On how to make it.
Another thing I want to build a lumber cart. Because, I got a bunch of lumber in the shop that just sits on the floor and it just accumulates and accumulates. So I want to build a rolling lumber cart.
That can't be that hard.
Nah, it's not bad. I mean, I found some plans and what I'm going to do is the longest I'll put on it is 4 feet. Because, some of the stuff I have in there is 8 feet long.
And that's what I was going to tell you. I can't imagine seeing you put 8-foot 2x4s on there.
It'd get cut. Because my thought is, if I need something bigger, it's probably a project I'm either getting paid for or I'll just buy some more.
Right.
And
you could always do. If you don't have too much 8-foot lumber, you could always hang it. Do those hooks that I've. That way you don't have to cut it all up now. You never know when you need that 5-foot piece of 2x4.
As soon as I cut it into 4 feet.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I'm have to get those hooks. That would be good. The only problem is the ceilings are kind of short.
Well, if you put it up against the wall, you put those hooks up against the wall. So it sounds like some shop organization and like some shop tool maintenance. What else?
A project I've been talking about for, probably 2 or 3 years, vacuum forming table.
Oh, is this using the toaster ovens?
Yeah, I really want to do that.
I don't understand really what the vacuum forming, what would you be making with this?
One thing I could do is the Dragon Priest mask. You can ask them to do something like that. The issue is you sometimes don't get as good of detail.
Is this essentially where you're putting a flat piece of plastic over it, heating it up so it melts over to whatever you're molding it over, and then taking it out?
I'd have a bed, and it'd be a grid on it for airflow.
Right.
Let's say I'd put this mask on it. Elements are going to be at the top of the structure, and I'll flip them on, have a piece of plastic near it, and that plastic's going to start to sag as it gets hot. As soon as it starts sagging, it's going to be on kind of rails. I'm going to pull it down on the mask. I'm going to flip a switch to, some people use like a shop vac vacuum cleaner. And I thought about that, but I probably would spend a little bit of money and get an actual compressor and tank. Because that way you can pull a really good vacuum. Like I think a vacuum cleaner will pull something like a 6 vacuum, and like a compressor will do like 28, 29, which is 30 is like pure vacuum. I can't remember the units. And that way that vacuum will suck the plastic right onto like the face of this mask. Again, this mask is not the best because, you have some of these deep recesses.
Right. I know what you mean, though. What would you use it for right away? Is there a project you have in mind?
In mind, no. Some of the armor stuff, like let's say I wanted to build a stormtrooper. Some of that armor is primed for vacuum forming. Right. If I do the Jango Boba Fett thing, some of that would be good for it.
Yeah. But you have to have the piece first, though, right? So you'd have to make the piece.
You have to make a buck, regardless.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like this. The mask, I built a buck, and then I just made a mold of it. So this is similar, but instead of making a mold, I make a buck and then just pull the plastic down.
Is it more cost effective than doing it this way? It seemed like it'd be a lot cheaper, actually.
Once you have the vacuum former done, it's cheaper. But again, the daggers, couldn't do those on a vacuum former. No. It's just too much detail to...
I don't even know how you would do that. The vacuum former thing seems like it's almost one-sided.
The best
I guess you could probably be to put a piece of plastic on the bottom, but I don't even know how you would...
You could probably build something around it. But the best thing are domes and like circular shapes. You want kind of shapes that don't have a lot of undercuts like this mask. I've seen people pull some pretty intricate things on a vacuum former. And that's why I'd want to do the compressor instead of the shop vac, because a shop vac can pull some stuff, but again, you're just looking at not near enough suction.
And compressor, it's you can use it for so many other things.
And
I thought you already had one.
I do, but I can't remember. It's something special because I can't remember what it is.
Compressor pushes air, so
so you need
how you're gonna. It's got to be something.
It's something I've seen it like Harbor Freight. A lot of people buy their stuff on Harbor Freight. You can get a 5-gallon tank, and I just can't think of the name of it. It's not a compressor, but it's whatever the opposite of a compressor is.
I don't know.
I want to say it starts with an I, but I might be making that up. I don't know. I've got it in my plans. I've designed the plans for this, how big I want it.
There's actually a Harbor Freight store near us.
In Danville. Yeah.
I had no idea. Drove past it like a month ago. I was like, I didn't know there was a Harbor Freight here. It sounds like that's going to be really hard to build.
I've wanted to start building it for the past few years, and I've yet to get to it.
What kind of structure do you put it in?
Probably like 2x4 structure. In essence, you build a 2x4 frame for everything.
Yeah, but you're going to be heating it up.
Well, for that part, I'd use something like concrete board. Just adhere to wood frame. Right. Because the concrete board, that's going to be great insulator.
That'll be fine, yeah. That'll be interesting.
It's really not that bad to build. It's just, I've yet to actually start. If I could get started. You got to build your plate, and then you need a board with a bunch of holes drilled in it so the air can get that suction, but it shouldn't be bad.
Where do you connect the suction? Underneath the board?
You'd have a plate that your object would fit on.
Right.
Then you have a plate below that, and you just have a connection on the bottom to where...
That just makes me want to do that just so I can do something with it. Just so I can. I don't know, I wonder what you're going to do first.
I have no idea.
You're going to have to do something just to, once you build it, you're going to, just to have to try something out.
That cheap, like, space mask, I traded you. Probably do that on a vacuum former.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Something like that.
You see, that seems like it would melt, though.
I don't know.
See, that was my concern when you were talking about it. I was like, can you exactly put in there that won't catch on fire or melt?
Be a good experiment.
What else? Anything else for November?
As I've already said, I know I won't get to half this stuff. That's on my building stuff. And then, videos, like once I got doing more YouTube stuff, I started dusting off all these video ideas I'd had. And I'm like, that's just too much trouble. And I decided that, just do it. If I can't do the high production value, just do something. So I've got a lot of video ideas. And one of them is very complicated and involved, but I've always wanted to do it.
It's not something we've already started?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to finish those too.
My gosh, that's just too much.
Oh, I know.
That's way too much. Jeez, I just want to get the Halloween video that I've done with the kids. That was it.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on all my movie reviews. I got the Billboard video I haven't done.
The Billboard video?
Yeah, we graffitied the Billboard. Haven't done that yet.
I did my video. I'm happy. I'm good.
I got mine.
I'm good.
Giant Jenga. I still not done that video.
I didn't know you had a video for that.
I don't. That's the problem.
I didn't know you were doing a video for it.
Definitely doing a video. I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I want to do a quick, this is how I built it, because that'll be all of 3 seconds.
I thought you did that already.
Nah. Then, I want to have a video where it starts, you have 2 people playing it, and then you have me or somebody just run right into it and, big crash. Because only that's what excels on YouTube. I think that's
wearing a helmet?
I think I'm going to have to wear a helmet.
Yeah, you're going to have to wear a helmet. Maybe some padding.
Yeah. That's 2x4s are no joke.
We got to do a game night, and we got to bring that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And speaking of game nights, we did one on Friday, and I knew you weren't going to be making it, so I didn't invite you. And we played Mafia.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Now I'm jealous.
You weren't going to be able to make it anyway. I know you'd be busy with Halloween. And
how'd that go?
Oh, it went really well. Half of the people played already. When you played, how many people did you typically have in like a group?
Usually between 10 and 15.
Yeah, we had 12.
That's a good number.
Yeah,
really
I thought it was a good number. When I read the instructions, you'd talked about it. I read the instructions. I guess it's best if you have like a moderator.
Yeah,
someone to tell a story.
A moderator. Yeah, you don't have to add flavor, but it's a nice touch.
So I was moderator.
So you added some flavor, right?
Oh yeah, I had tons of story. I had details of how everyone got killed on the Mafia. I had one woman, she was like, "Please just stop describing this." I was like, "No, this is what makes it fun." She's like, "No, please don't."
Wow.
We played 3 rounds of it. So people really,
you guys were into
really got into it. Well, at first people didn't understand that you could lie and bluff and say whatever you wanted to say. People didn't understand that.
I really wish I was in that game then.
The first game, people were just like, I don't know what. The cop, he said nothing. The whole time he was the cop, he said nothing. And then we played the second round with the cop and with a medic. So the guy who was the cop for the first round, he said nothing the whole game pretty much. Nothing. He'd make any accusations. He would point to the person who he thought was Mafia.
Did he get anybody?
He did. He did.
And
he still wouldn't say a word because he really didn't know what to do. So finally, the second game comes around and I hand out the cards. And of course, I don't know who anybody is, right? Because I'm moderator, but I don't know who's Mafia and who's whatever. And he goes, "Well, I think it's this guy over here as part of the Mafia." And his wife turns and goes, "It's him." It's like he never says a word. It's definitely him. They voted 10 to none to kill him when he was Mafia. So yeah, you would have had a good time. So we'll have to come the next time that we do it.
When's the next game night, man? Mafia, come on. That's
we're probably going to do one Friday, but it's not going to be a big group. It's probably going to be a small group. But man, everybody, they loved that game. Loved it.
Yeah, I gotta get in on that.
Yeah, you definitely got to get in on that. And so I got to play one round. Finally, somebody was like, "Oh, I'll moderate." I'm like, "Oh, great, I get to play." So I sit down. I get just a regular townsperson card. So whatever. So I put my head down. The 2 Mafia people are voting to kill someone. And turns out that the guy sitting next to me is Mafia, and he voted to kill me. I just started to play the game. Pinpointed him right away because I had 2 games to really watch them and, watch their habits. And so I got him out of the game and pretty quickly. Actually, he was the first person that I accused, but I pretty much dominated the conversation. So I'm like, no, it's definitely this person. This person didn't say anything. Everybody's quiet, and they're like, "It's you, isn't it?" I'm like, "No, it's not me." So finally I had to be like, "I'm the cop. It's not me." The cop didn't.
Were you the cop?
No. I was a townsperson. But, I figured that's really good strategy to say that you're the cop if you're the Mafia.
Well, it can be. I mean...
Well, you just have to out-talk the other person. which I can definitely do.
Depending on the game, you have to strike that balance of talking enough, but not too much. Because if you're too quiet or too talkative, experienced Mafia people are going to say,
I try to just control the conversation completely. And I'll pick someone out in the group who I know will agree with me with whatever I'm saying. And that's what I did. And that's how I got all these people lynched before we found the other Mafia person. I kept thinking it was someone else. I talked the whole group into it. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely him.
So you got a bunch of townies lynched?
Oh, gosh. I had the cop lynched first.
And never I tried to pick you out as Mafia?
No. I had no idea he was the cop. I had no idea. It's just his behavior just threw me off. He was like, I'm the cop. I was like, nah, he's Mafia. Turns out he was the cop. It was awesome. Very good game. So yeah, the next time we play, you guys will have to come. I don't have so many projects for November. There are some Christmas things I want to work on, just, that I'm making for the kids. But other than that, I told somebody about the novel writing month. She was like, oh, you should do it too. I was like, no, I'm good. You know how harsh I am on my own words? I don't know how you sit there and not edit your words as you're writing them. I'd have to sit there and edit it the whole time.
Well, usually, I'll write however much I write. I think I'm always trying to get to like that total. It's like if I just get 2,000 or 3,000. But most time if I write it and then I go back, I might can add a couple hundred words going back and like punch more doing.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I'm completely frugal with my words. I'll go back and I'll be like, oh, nope, that's too descriptive.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of NaNoWriMo. It's do or die. I mean, you got to do it.
I don't know that I could be that. I don't think I could do it.
The first year was tough, because you're like, oh, this is no good. You just keep writing, it's no good. And then the second year, I'm like, yeah, it's no good, but whatever. I got to hit that word count. Doesn't matter.
It takes me like 4 months to write a poem. So I'm serious. I mean, gosh, I don't know how people write that quickly. I don't even know what to write about. I have no idea what to write about.
Last time I did it, which might have been 2013. Yes, 2013. I think I did 2,800 words a day, and I did it in 3 weeks.
I thought about writing what it's like to be a stay-at-home dad, but that can get kind of scandalous. I'm going to be honest with you.
50 Shades of Stay-at-Home Dad.
Pretty much. Could get pretty scandalous. So I thought, maybe I'll just leave that one go. Let that one go. What would I write about?
Make up anything. I mean, you could start, take something real, like your stay-at-home dad, and then just take it to you become a superhero or you become a private detective. But it's fun. I know I did it in 2013. I that story, the first one I didn't outline. 2013, I outlined it, and I knew, all right, this is where it's going to go. Towards the middle, it just started going this completely different way. I'm like, whatever, I'm down. If the story wants to go that way, we'll go that way. It's a lot of fun. I mean, the first year was ridiculous, but the second year, it was a blast.
Do you think of it ahead of time? I mean, do you already have an idea of the story and the ending, or any plot twists? Because I feel like I've got to have twists in it before I get started. I've got to know that at some point this is going to twist around. And
first year I did it was 2011,
right.
And I knew I wanted zombie survival, and this was before zombie survival was everywhere. I was ahead of the curve on that one, and I knew my story. I knew exactly what I wanted. I had the broad strokes. My entire story was done in 12,000 words. I had 38,000 words left to go to finish the contest. Gosh. And I hit 50,000. I think I got 50,000, 10 words. I'm like, done. It's over.
The end.
You're right. I'm like, what do I do next? And the story's done. And just whatever idea popped in my head, I was like, okay, we're doing that. That's what they're doing. It doesn't make sense. It's not plausible. Whatever. That came to my head. We're writing it. That's what they're doing. Because I remember that story. I remember my first 12,000. I remember that story. I remember every part of it. I have no idea what came after that. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Some books don't require 50,000 words. Some require just 12,000. The only other project I'm working on is dieting. Diet, not dieting. Diet.
Project Vanity.
Project Vanity. Did you ever try to eat just yogurt all day? It's really hard.
I don't even like yogurt.
I really like yogurt a lot. But trying to eat one every 3 hours, it's really difficult.
Why every 3 hours?
Well, because I worked out the calories. Every 3 hours, I get about hungry anyway. So I figure if I can just stave off the hunger by having a yogurt, that everything would be fine. Kill a man for a piece of chicken right now.
How long have you been eating just yogurt?
About 6 days now, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you last 6 days on just yogurt?
It's not
That's
so
gotta
bad.
Be I don't know.
It's not so bad.
I suppose it doesn't help me. I don't like yogurt, so it probably is worse in my imagination.
Yeah, no, I love that Greek yogurt. It's really good. Well, you know what I went off of? I went off this guy who created a diet called the Twinkie diet, where he ate nothing but Twinkies and lost weight.
Yeah, this is all just calorie intake.
Right. Was it you that told me that story?
No,
and then I looked it up. Oh, somebody told me that story, and then I was like, there's no way that was true. But he ate one every 2 hours and lost weight.
I remember some teacher did a McDonald's diet, And he lost weight on McDonald's, but again, it was prorating calories.
That's all I'm basically doing with the yogurt is they're low calories already. So if I have 6 a day, I'm good.
Cut it down to 3, though. You can be even better.
That would be dead. One every 8 hours? No, wait a minute. That would be one every 6 hours or so. Whew.
Get to that goal even faster.
Oh, that would be harsh. I've got 9 months for Project Vanity. So I haven't been working out as much as I wanted to. So, but at least I'm eating the yogurt.
Yeah, after that episode, I've been thinking about working out.
Really?
I've been thinking about it. I haven't actually done it yet, but I've thought about it. That's the first step. You got to think about it.
You got to think about it?
Yeah.
You got to think it over. It requires so much time. And when like 10 o'clock rolls around, sometimes I just don't want to work out. I'm done for the day.
My thought is, if I can just like get 15 minutes in or even 10 minutes in, well, we'll just start small.
We start with the pyramid push-ups.
There you go.
It's not 100 in a row. Actually, you can do them on your knees too. You can do girl push-ups.
I could probably handle girl push-ups, yeah.
Okay, the way it works is you do one push-up, then you get up onto your knees and push 1 time in the air. And then you get down and do 2 push-ups. And then back up on your knees, 2 in the air. So you push up on your knees too. So you don't actually, do regular push-ups. You just do girl push-ups on your knees. So do 3 push-ups, 3 pushes in the air, 4 push-ups, 4, and go all the way to 10, and then back down to 1. I don't think you make it to 10.
Well, you said 1. I said I could do 1 girl push-up.
You could do 1.
That part I got down.
Man, I struggle sometimes getting up to 10 and not stopping because I try to go up to 10, don't stop, and then I can pace it a little bit slower. These girl push-ups are tough.
I was doing this thing a couple of years ago where, some program where like by the end of 6 weeks, you could do like 100 push-ups in a row, but I didn't get too far on that.
As far as you out on the piano?
Actually, so I was like, I might as well just type that up as a blog post and just credit that as a fail. That one's not going anywhere.
You know what? I take issue with all of these videos that say fail, epic fail or anything like that. I was explaining this to the kids the other day. They were like, we were watching these parkour fail videos. All right, well, explain it to me. They're watching these because Jack really wants to do it. He wants to do parkour. It's just the thought of that. They're watching it. And they're watching the fail videos and people are, getting hurt or, they're falling off of walls or whatever, I said, why is this fail? Why do you guys consider this a fail? Why does the video consider it a fail? And they were like, well, because they didn't do it the right way. I don't see that as a fail. I said, I see that as them trying and, it not working out. I said, the only people that fail? And they're like, no. I said, the only failures are people that don't try it. Those are the only failures. I can't stand to see those videos that say epic fail or fail, and it's people trying stuff, and it's some moron holding a video camera calling it a fail. That drives me crazy. So I don't want my kids to think that. So I don't know. What do you got any thoughts on that?
I think your point is completely valid. I completely agree. I remember some quote I heard way back when. I can't remember who said it. You only fail if you didn't learn anything. If you learned something, you didn't fail. Right. Which, in essence, very similar to what you said. As far as YouTube videos called Epic Fail, they're all called Epic Fail because when it says
people
Epic Fail, people click on it.
My kids did. Well, even people say that term now. And the kids said it. Like, they'll say it when one of them, falls or something, and they'll say, like, oh, that was a fail. It drives me crazy.
It's one of those things it's been ingrained into pop culture.
Right.
What it actually means and what people intend it to mean are just two separate things.
No, I think people see it as a failure. I don't like it at all. And maybe that's just the dad in me being like, No,
I think you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where somebody falls, it's either epic fail or sick burn. I mean, It's not a sick burn. He's not sick. He didn't get burned. He just fell. But it's just one of these things. It's almost a meaningless word we've created.
Well, there's a lot of those, though. Epic is definitely one of them. This is epic.
Everything's epic.
Yeah. And awesome. We've completely ruined that word.
Oh, yeah.
Just this Saturday was daylight saving time. Would you like to say that for me?
Daylight saving time? Isn't it daylight savings time?
It is not.
Is it not?
It is not daylight savings time. This drives me insane. There's only a few turns of phrase that drive me crazy, and this is one of them. You cannot savings time.
You can try.
You could be saving time, but you can never be savings time.
What annoys me about daylight saving time is that it exists at all. I don't know why we fall back and spring forward. We should scrap all of it. It's
You think so?
ridiculous. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
without a doubt, we should just get rid of it.
On Friday, when I was getting up to take the kids to school, it was dark, which I guess it shouldn't really be a problem, but I guess that's probably why we do it, is because so it's not.
We do it because we've always done it, and we are slow to change. I mean, it was done way back when, I think, to save energy or...
It was for farming.
Was it, though?
Mm-hmm.
I thought farmers didn't like it.
Oh, I thought it was for farming.
My understanding is that farmers don't like it because there's a lot of places in the Midwest that don't observe it.
This was Ben Franklin's idea, so it goes long before that.
I don't know. My thought was that there's a lot of people in the Midwest that don't observe it because it impedes farming.
Every year when it comes around, it makes me think of this quote from an Indian, and I don't remember what Indian was famous Indian. He said, "Only the white man believes he could cut a foot off the top of a blanket, sew it onto the bottom of a blanket, and thinks he has a longer blanket." That is one of my favorite quotes.
That's a good quote.
I think of that every daylight saving time. I think that's pretty much wrap it up for me.
I think so.
Top 3 grammatical problems with today's society.
I can go past 3 on that. Yeah.
Go past 3 on that one? Oh, let's go. I'll let you start off. Go ahead.
One of the biggest ones is there, and there.
Yeah.
And one thing that gets me more so than that, I guess, in actual hearing people is lay and lie, sit and set.
It's hard to hear adults make these
or even
language
worse,
errors.
Where the noun and verb don't agree, like you use a singular noun and a plural verb or vice versa. My favorite is good and well.
Oh.
That irritates me all the time. I ran good. No, you ran well.
I'm going to go with one of mine. Mine is a definition word, and it would be decimate or decimated. You hear it all the time. It was decimated when it was destroyed or something. Well, decimated, deci, is Latin for 10. Decimated is reduced by 1/10. We've been using it incorrectly for a really long time.
How did you come across that one?
Please stop. This was years ago. This has been driving me crazy for 15, 20 years. I was in Latin club in high school, and so,
Exciting club.
Yeah, the 3 of us really enjoyed it. What was amazing is I played like football, baseball, that still did Latin club. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to miss baseball practice today. It's Latin club.
Hey, you got to be well-rounded.
So, yeah, it was just one of those things back then. I think that really bothered me. And my kids say it. It drives me crazy. I'm like, do you have any idea what you're saying? No. Let me tell you. Yeah, but not anything else, or you just blow it all in the first one?
I think I blew them all in the first one.
Okay, I'll go with another one of mine. You don't hear it very much, but when I do hear it, it stops everything, except for the person that just said it, and me. We're the only 2 people here. The word irregardless. Irregardless.
It's not a word.
No, it's not. And it means the same thing as regardless. Because you use them in the exact same way, irregardless and regardless.
I'm going to say, I could care less. Can you, though? Or could you not care less? I could care less. Super, me too.
I could try to care less. That's just a phrase that makes no sense at all.
I could care less.
I could care less.
I mean, I still like it. I could care less about it.
Here's my final, really pushes me over the edge. The misuse of a and an. That's an eraser. Not a eraser. It's an eraser.
You hear that misused a lot?
All the time.
Really?
Oh my. In language, I definitely hear it. But more, you see it in writing. And you're like, that's appalling. How do you not know this rule?
Is this proper writing that people are misusing these things?
It's just writing in general. I'm sorry. If you've been in school past the 4th grade, you should know better.
Yeah, but if it's informal writing, I might give some leeway.
No, absolutely not. You're going to give leeway to you're welcome, Y-O-U-R? It's you're welcome.
No, it's just you are. You're welcome.
You're going to give leeway to that, too? There, and there?
In informal writing, I'm a little more lax because, you can't expect so much.
No, that is inexcusable.
I mean,
even in text. Even in text.
In my informal writing in text, I try to adhere to good grammar, but I give other people leeway. Sometimes I write "you are" in text because this is so much more trouble.
Well, that's saying you are. At least you're saying you and are, not your. You're welcome. That's your welcome, not
true.
Mine. Yours. No sense at all. Sorry. Inexcusable. Someone texted that to me all the time. You're welcome. I won't say who it is, but if you do listen, it drives me crazy.
I'm going to remember that so I can text you, you're welcome. I'm giving this to you. This is your welcome.
Yeah. Anything else for you?
I think I've hit all the high points.
You got all yours.
Yeah. That's a good top 3.
There is something that I say that I know drives people crazy, but I say it on purpose. I'll say that weighs a fortune or it costs a ton. I say it all the time. That costs a ton or it weighs a fortune. It's just the way I say it. I like the way it turns. I like that. That should just about wrap it up for episode whatever this is.
Who knows?
Fridays on the Fly. Thanks for listening. I'm Eric.
And I'm Ward. We have a webpage, fridaysonthefly.com. You can find our show notes. You can find links to every social media profile we own. Check out iTunes. We're on there, and you can rank and review, and whatever you do on iTunes, do it to us. We'd enjoy it. We're on what are we on? We're on Stitcher. We might be on Google Play soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Google Play is starting a podcast thing. And so I signed up and they approved my podcast.
Sweet.
I assume something's going to happen with that. I don't think they have anything going yet, but when it happens, we're going to be on the front lines of that bad boy. Email us, ward@fridaysonthefly.com, eric@fridaysonthefly.com. We do have a currently running contest. Email us about the contest. That's all you have to do. And whatever the rules are, we'll figure that out. And you can be entered or whatever. Just email us. All you have to do is put contest in the subject or in the body of your email. That's all it takes. And maybe you'll get something. Maybe not. So far, we have one entry, and that is me.
I've got to enter.
You better.
Is there a limit on how many times you can enter?
I haven't figured that one out yet. If you send 2 emails, I'm going to start sending one too.
Can you not win if you're a family member or
No, there's no
or employee
restrictions.
of the
We're
station?
wide open. That's going to do it for us. We're Fridays on the Fly. If you're still listening at this point, you really need to just stop. It's over.
Go home already.
Let it
Go home. It's that moment for Ferris Bueller where he looks into the camera and he's like, "You still here? Go home already."
And if you are still listening, just start over at the beginning of our run of podcast episodes. Start over at the beginning and just listen to it afresh and anew.
Maybe skip ahead to episode 8.
Yeah, maybe go to 8.
Yeah, it wasn't so. Go to 8.
But if you're a diehard fan, go to 1.
Why not?
But if you're more a fair weather fan, go to 8.
That'll wrap it up.
Yeah, please stop listening, really.